Okay, can y'all see this? Great. Okay. Let me try something else. Oh, this is so fun. Okay. Okay, let's try now. Can you see this? Can you see my PowerPoint? You still can't see my PowerPoint? Can anyone see my PowerPoint? Anybody? Is that a no for everyone then, I guess? Okay. Let me try one more thing. Okay, lagging. Okay. All right, I'm going to try to add this as a different format. And let's see if it will upload then. All right, give it just a few minutes. While we're waiting, does anyone have any questions about anything? I guess while we're waiting, I can go ahead and go over just some like housekeeping stuff. So today in the course, you are taking your 5.10 quiz over graphing systems of inequalities. Tomorrow, your unit 5 test will open up. You will get 2 attempts on that, of course. And so you'll get 2 attempts on that. Then Friday, your unit 5 writing assignment will open up. And this writing assignment, I'm actually going to have a special small group on Friday at 10 o'clock. So please come to the 10 o'clock small group on Friday because I'm going to go over how to do the writing assignment. Yay, it loaded. How to do the writing assignment. It's just going to be different numbers. Aubrey, the Unit 4 test is in the course. So if you go to content on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see Unit 4. And then I can't remember what module it is. I can try to get that for you, although everything's loading slow today. But you should see one that says unit test. All right, guys, so let's do a real quick review. Sorry that took so long, but how many, according to this graph, how many solutions does this system have? Aubrey, it's going to be module 4.05 is where you'll find the unit test. All right, so take a look here. Remember that a solution is the point where 2 lines intersect. If there is no solution, that means that the 2 lines are parallel. And if there are infinitely many solutions, that means that the 2 lines are the exact same. So what do y'all think? I only have 11 that have answered so far. All right, good. So 64% of you, 58% of you got the answer correct. The correct answer is D, one solution. So a solution is the point where two lines intersect. Okay, we have one point right here. We write that point as an ordered pair, so 1, 3. Okay, these lines are not parallel, so it's not no solution. We have two different lines, so it's not many solutions. And then it only intersects one time. Okay, so today this is going over in the course lesson 5.10. By the end of today, you will be able to find the solution for a system of inequalities. So let's talk about inequalities. Inequalities means we have these signs. We have less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay, so this word equality means strictly an equal sign. Inequality means it does not have to be an equal sign. Okay. All right. So I want you to be writing these steps down. So get a piece of paper and write these steps down with me because you're going to use them for the rest of class. So first things first, step 1, we want to put our inequality into slope-intercept form. Okay. This is y equals mx plus b. So in other words, we're solving for y. Okay, that's our first step. After we have our equation in slope-intercept form, we're going to graph, just like we graph equations. We're going to graph inequalities the same way. So the first thing we're going to do is plot our y-intercept. So we're going to graph using the y-intercept. Then we will use the slope to count. All right, then we're going to decide if the line is a solid line, which would be less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or if we're going to be using a dotted line, which would just be less than or just greater than. And then lastly, with inequalities, we have to shade above or below the line. And to do that, we use 0, 0 as a test point. All right, I'm going to pause for just a second so you can finish writing these steps down. Alrighty, guys, so let's go ahead and do a quick review of graphing a singular inequality. So the first step, step 1 that I gave you on the previous page was to do what? Who can tell me? Put it in the room chat. Yeah, good. Exactly. Good. So we need to solve this equation for y. Very good. Okay, so what should I do first? I want to get y by itself. So what should I do here? Good, AJ. Yep. So tell me, I know I want to get it into y equals mx plus b, but what I'm looking for you to tell me is the exact step that I'm going to take. and subtract. There we go. 3x is correct. Good, AJ. On both sides. So 3x minus 3x becomes 0. So I'm left with 2y is greater than 2 minus 3x. If you prefer to write it with this x term first, totally fine. Oops, that's a negative 2, isn't it? So that should be negative 2. All right, what's my next step going to be here? Good, AJ, very good. Divide by 2. So I'm going to divide everything by 2 to get y by itself. So divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. So I would get y is greater than negative 3 divided by 2 times x minus 1. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and then I still have that negative sign there. Questions about how I got any of those terms, numbers, steps, anything like that?
I have a question.
Sure, what's up?
I thought you're supposed to divide by 2 on both sides, like divide 2 by 2 to get y alone and negative 2 by 2. I didn't know you're supposed to do all 3 of them, like divide 2 by everything.
Yes, dividing on both sides means that this would be 3x minus 2. This is an entire term. All of this divided by 2. So you have to divide the entire side by 2. When you multiply or divide, everything gets multiplied and divided. If I, like on this last one here where I just subtracted 3x, if you're adding or subtracting, you can only add or subtract the like terms. Good question. So yes, when you multiply or divide, everything gets multiplied or divided. All right, so let's go ahead and graph. My next step was to graph using the y-intercept. What is my y-intercept here? Negative 1, very good. So I'm going to put a point at my y-intercept of negative 1. Then I'm going to use my slope, which is down 3. Good. And to the right 2. I can also go up 3 and to the left 2. What kind of line will I draw through these points? Check out your step number 3. Good. Very good. Dotted, because of my inequality sign. And now this is where I'm going to use my test point. So I'm going to use 0, 0 because that point is not on my line. So I'm going to do 3 times 0 plus 2 times 0 and check if that is greater than negative 2. So 3 times 0 is 0 plus 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 would be 0. So is 0 greater than negative 2? What do you think? Yes, it's greater than, or no, it is not? Good, AJ. Yes, it is greater than. 0 is greater than all negative numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to shade, because it was true, I'm going to shade the side that contains 0, 0. So that's just like a quick review of what we did in Unit 3 with inequalities. Just like graphing equations was one line, and then a system of equations like we went over in the warm-up, that was 2 lines. That's what we're going to be doing with inequalities. We are going to be graphing 2 lines, 2 inequalities. So we're going to have 2 shaded areas The area where both the shading overlaps is going to be our solution set. So let me show you what I mean by that. This graph here, the red dotted line has the equation y is greater than 2x plus 5. Okay. If I were to plug 0, 0 in as a test point, 0 is greater than 2 times 0, I'm sorry, less than 2 times 0 plus 5. That would say 0 is less than 5, which is true. So for red, we shaded everything on the side of 0, 0. Blue has the equation y is greater than negative x. So for this one, we cannot use the point 0, 0 because it's on the line. So let's pick the point 1, 1. So 1 is greater than negative 1. Is 1 bigger than negative 1? Yes, that point would be where that blue dot is. So I shade on that side. So as you can see, the area where the two shaded regions overlap is going to be this dark purple area. Okay, so that's what your inequalities are going to look like. You're going to have two shaded regions and then a region where they clearly overlap. All right, I'm going to do this one and have you watch me graph it. The next one we're going to do all together. So you don't have to worry about writing any of this down right this second. I'm going to do this one for you and show you, and then we will do the next one together. So I'm going to graph this top line in red. So the first thing I'm going to do is check to make sure that it is solved for y, and it is. So now I can graph my y-intercept, which is at -3. Now I'm going to use my slope, which is up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. I like to go a couple points just because, especially since we're shading, we might have to go a few more points till we get an overlap. I'm going to put a dotted line through this because of my inequality sign. It was strictly greater than. And now I will use 0, 0 as a test point. So 0 is greater than 4 times 0 minus 3. Is 0 greater than -3? Yes. So I'm going to shade the left side of this. Questions about how I graphed, shaded, or used that test point? Anybody? Okay, so let's keep going. How did I get a half? Okay, so half of 4. I didn't do half of 4. That is 4 over 1, and that's my slope. Slope is the number in front of x. When it's just a whole number, the bottom number, so our run, remember slope is rise over run, our run is going to be the number 1. So I would go up 4 because it's a positive 4, so 4 up to the right 1. Adler, the way that I shaded this is I picked a point that is not on my line. So I like to pick the point 0, 0 because it simplifies a lot of things. You can pick whatever point you want. So I plug in 0 for y, that was right here, and 0 for x, and that went back into this original equation here. So 0 is greater than 4 times 0 minus 3. So 4 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3 is -3. So then I ask myself, is this a true statement? If I plug in the point 0, 0, do I get a true statement? So is 0 greater than -3? Yes, it is. So I want to include 0, 0 in my solution. So I'm going to shade the side that contains the point that made the statement true. Amari, are you talking about the Unit 5 one? Unit 5 test? Okay, I can give you another attempt on that one. Alrighty, so now let's do the next one in blue. I'm going to plot my y-intercept at +3. Then I will use my slope, which is -2 or -2/1. So I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1. And I will put a solid line here because I have greater than or equal to. Now, this is where I'm going to use my test point again to shade. So plug in a 0 for y, plug in a 0 for x, and see if I get a true statement. So this says that 0 is greater than or equal to +3. Is 0 greater than 3? What do you think? Is 0 bigger than 3? Right, it is not. 0 is not bigger than 3. So I don't want to include 0 in my solution. So I'm going to shade the other side. So then as you can see, where red and blue overlap is right in this triangle here. Okay? Questions about any of that? Okay. So we're going to do another one. Do I have any volunteers? Let's do this one. Do I have any volunteers that would be willing to just do the first, graph the first one? Awesome. Actually, if you want, Amari, I'll have you do the first one, the top one, and then AJ, do you want to try that second one? It's kind of tricky. I can give you a hint. Okay, perfect. So then AJ can do that second one. And don't forget to shade and show us how you use your test point. So y'all are doing this on your own. Amari and AJ are going to do it on the board. Perfect, Amari. Good. Now just use your test point. Good. AJ, check out the message that I sent you real quick. Yes. Yes, that's correct. Yep, it goes left and right. All right, Amari, don't forget to do a test point. So let's use the point 0, 0. So go ahead and plug in 0 for y and 0 for x, and let's see if we get a true statement. Okay, so 1 second. AJ, do you mind if I show you real quick the actual line and then you can do the shading? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so Amari's got her line correct. She's working on her shading. So she's either going to shade to the left or the right. AJ's, this line here, let me do blue, says that y is greater than -2. So it does not matter what the x value is. It could be -5, it could be 3. The y value is always going to be -2 down here or bigger. So that means AJ is going to have a line, a dotted line, horizontal line at -2. Okay. And now she's going to shade either above or below this line, whichever one has y values greater than -2. All right. So for Amari's, she used 0, 0 as a test point. So when we do that, we get 0 is greater than or equal to 3. Is 0 greater than 3? No. So this is the point 0, 0. So she is going to shade the other side because we got a false statement. And then AJ, go ahead and shade either above or below that blue line. Good. Okay, so good, AJ. So she shaded above the line, and you can still use 0, 0 as a test point. You'll just plug in a 0 for y. So is 0 greater than -2? Yes. So then she shaded above. So that means our solution set would be this area over here where they overlap. Questions about this one? Anybody? Good job, guys. That was really good. I know that was kind of a tough one. All right, let's do one where we are not, our inequalities are not solved for y. So AJ, do you want to try this top one and show us how to solve for y and then graph it? Awesome. Okay, go ahead. Does anybody else want to try solving the bottom one? You can just show your work on the board here. Anybody? If not, I can do it. Okay, I will solve the bottom one. I'll go way down here. Good job, AJ. Okay, yes, you did. Okay. Great job, AJ. Good. So is 0 greater than -2? So 0 would be bigger than -2. Good job. So we would want to go ahead then and shade the side that contains 0, 0. Good. All right. So real quick, let's talk through this one. Let's look at AJ's top in the blue. We're going to look at how AJ solved for solved for y. So the first thing was to subtract 4x from both sides. So right here and right here, subtracted 4x, which left 3y is greater than negative 4x minus 6. Perfect. Then divide everything by 3. So you get y is greater than negative 4/3 x minus 2. Perfect. So what AJ did was graph the y-intercept at negative 2. Then use the slope. So up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, 1, 2, 3. And then down 4, which would be kind of off the grid and over here. And then a dotted line. Okay. Good job. Then AJ put in 0 for y, 0 for x. So he got 0 is greater than negative 2. She said, yes, that's true. Shaded in the side that contains 0, 0. Good job, AJ. All right, now if you look what I did at the bottom, this one was a little tricky because we had to remember a specific rule about inequalities. So the first thing that I did was I subtracted x from both sides. So then that left me with negative 3 times y is less than or equal to negative x minus 9. Now, I wanted to get y by itself, so I divided everything by negative 3. With inequalities, when you multiply or divide by a negative, we have to flip our sign. If we don't flip our sign, that will mess up our shading. So I got y is now greater than 1/3 negative 1x divided by negative 3. A negative divided by a negative becomes positive, so positive 1/3 x. And then negative 9 divided by negative 3 becomes positive 3. So negative 1/3 x plus 3. So I put my y-intercept at 3. I used my slope, which was up 1 to the right 3, or down 1, left 3. And then I plugged in 0, 0 as a test point to get 0 is greater than 3. 0 is not greater than 3, so I shaded above the line. And then you can see where these overlap is in this yellow area. Okay, any questions about this? All right, one last thing I'm going to put up as a little recap. If you want to take a picture of this, this is just kind of like a little cheat sheet, just a quick wrap up of graphing systems. Okay, don't forget you have to either choose dotted or solid line. Then you've got to do some shading. And then over here, this is like a full worked out example problem for you where we had to solve for y for this problem. And then it has it graphed. And the blue line is the overlapped area. Okay, so any point in that area, in that blue area, is a solution. Okay. All right, guys, that's all that I have for you today. So if you have not taken your 5.10 quiz, make sure to go do that. Tomorrow you'll take your Unit 5 test, and then Friday the writing assignment opens, and that is the last thing you'll be assigned for this semester. So I'm going to enter zeros in by Friday. And whatever your grade is Friday evening, it cannot get any lower than that. So please make sure that you get your stuff in. And then next week, we will start going over, start meeting together, figuring out how we can get your grades where you would like them to be. Okay? Bye, y'all. Have a great day.